Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back yet to another video. This is Ali Tarafter, your guide and mentor. Today's topic is very unique, and that's the topic of moving up tiers when it comes to your personal credit. And the reason I want to share this with you guys is because I've been talking to you guys about tiers for a long time now. And what tiers are essentially is what you do with your personal credit that keeps you in the same position that you're at today. And what are some of the steps that you can potentially take to move up away from those type of steps that'll get you to a position of prosperity and wealth much quicker than you would have anticipated otherwise. And the reason for me sharing this with you guys is because I want you to really benefit from the knowledge that I'm about to share with you today. I think these are some of the tools and resources that you need to create a certain level of financial evolution in your life. And the reason I say this confidently is because I've seen a lot of people on a personal level, be very slow when it comes to tiers. They're not progressive, they're not moving forward, and it's actually causing them more harm than good. So the purpose for this conversation really is to deep dive into your personal finances, is to look around you and your life circumstances and what are some of the things that you would have potentially done in order to alleviate your financial circumstances. It's one of those things that we really need to be very critical about, because if we're not, then what's going to happen is we're going to leave things in chance. And when you're gambling with your future or your personal finance, things don't necessarily go too well, unless you're extremely lucky. But that's also betting against odds, right? So what we need to do today is really to concentrate around things that you can potentially control, some of the ways in which you can leverage this control to better your financial circumstances in your life and hopefully your personal credit as well, and how to move your steps forward so that you can move from that first tier to the second and then the third, which are ultimately going to create some interesting results for you. So for that reason, I want you to be part of this. So let's start with what a tier 1 situation would look like. The first very important part of personal credit is you start at the very foundational level. That's the first tier. The first tier consists of you figuring out your personal credit. You understanding the basis and principles of personal credit, understanding how to strengthen your personal credit, how to remove the bads, how to personally enhance the existing ones that you have to strengthen the relationships that you got going on, and hopefully start moving progressively towards building wealth. Ultimately, like any asset, and you should turn your credit into an asset instead of a liability, you want the asset to perform for you so that it can give you returns over and over again. It can help you get to a position where you have a lot of financial confidence. In addition to that, help you get to a position where you can build a lot of wealth. This is extremely important, so you need to really concentrate on that, right? So that's the first thing we need to talk about. Once you get the basis and the foundational understanding of personal credit, only then can you start to think about some of the next steps, right? So the first thing is obviously a lot of people have personal credit and they want to leverage that personal credit and they want to start building wealth with personal credit, but they don't have an understanding of what that wealth would look like. They don't have an understanding of the types of things that are necessary to move on the ladder of wealth on a progressive level. These are some of the things that you need to really concentrate on, because that's what's going to help you become more proficient. That's what's going to help you move the needle across the finish line when it comes to your wealth and your financial circumstances. The way to do that is outside of the foundational infrastructure of learning about personal credit. Think about some of the tools and resources that you'll need to turn credit into an asset. And that's tier 2, really investing with your personal assets, which is your personal credit and leveraging some of your financial situation to get into a position to earn some money, to earn some income and potentially passive income, which is going to be the third tier. But everything requires a level of commitment and hard work. So in one of the previous videos, which I will link by the end of this video or in the description of this video, or perhaps in the comment section if you're looking at this now, is a video that I've talked about on reference to the tier systems of personal credit previously. And I actually shared a chart and a document that you can actually download by asking for it. Go ahead and check that video out. But to continue on that discussion today, let's figure out moving from the foundational level to go to tier 2. So you already know about the foundation, is understand what the credit is. What are some of the negatives that you have to get rid of? What are some of the positive that you have to work towards? How to enhance your existing relationship as to strengthen the relationship you already have. And now we're going to go into the aspect of moving from that relationship into stacking value in those relationships. And the way that works is some of the creditors that you're dealing with, they have external accounts also. In addition to personal credit cards, you can look for lines of credit. You can look for installment loans. And the reason I say that is because progressive financial moves means that you're progressing in the relationship with that creditor. It means that you're adding more financial resources from the same creditor into your arsenal. That means the creditor is strengthening their relationship with you and deepening that relationship as to experience what kind of customer you are and what kind of product lines you're using from that specific creditor. Once you get a comfortable understanding of that, and you selectively choose the type of products you want from your existing relationships, what happens now is you can actually progress. You can start building a little bit more than the standard typical revolving credit. Those are some of the tools that you need to access and to use very intelligently in order to move away from the first tier. The foundational tier is when people look at personal credit and they treat it as a dumpster. And they say, look, I want as much credit cards as possible. I want as much funding as possible. But the reality is, having a lot of funding and credit is not necessarily the asset that you're looking to establish, right? Credit needs to be utilized as an asset, which means that if you're stacking on bills and you don't have the income to withstand the obligations and more, because payment history is very important. We talked about that. But not just maintaining your minimum payments. The FICO 10 tier requires that you make very aggressive payments in addition to the minimum that you have, because that would actually create an algorithm within the system to study the patterns of your financial behavior. The thing is, I've seen a lot of people borrow large sums from their credit cards, almost maxing it out and then paying down the balance altogether in a very short period of time. What that does, it automatically engages the creditors to document to you, sometimes via mail, to tell you that you now qualify for a higher limit, and they've already automatically unlocked that limit for you. That's one of the best rewards that you can potentially have, because you don't even have to communicate with your existing creditors to ask for a request. On top of that, they didn't even pull a hard pull on you. So think about strengthening those type of relationships, because that's going to help you establish a level of confidence with that creditor. But if you don't have the financial resources, and now we're talking about like on a budget level, what are some of the things that you can potentially do? So if you don't have the financial resources to maintain those minimums and or pay more aggressively towards the credit that you're borrowing, then you got to be very selective as to what you do. And this is one of the tools that you need to understand. And that's the financial products that you're going to select. When it comes to your personal credit, you have to be very selective with those financial tools. You have to understand what specifically about those tools will benefit you, that will help you turn your credit into an asset class that you can leverage in order to move ahead. So those are some of the things I want you to really think about, because that's how you're going to move from tier 1 to tier 2, and that's how you're going to progress. To progress, you need to be very tactical and strategic at the same time, and you need to create a pathway that'll help you reach those financial goals faster and more reliably. So understand your personal credit, understand how to dissect the reports, understand how to clean it up, understand how to enhance your existing relationships, understand what to look for that the relationships are looking from you as well. Understand how to mutually strengthen that relationship so that you can move it into a category where it's no longer a liability but an asset. And also know yourself on a personal financial level. These are some of the tools that I want to give you when it comes to moving to the second tier, where you can start investing with your personal credit, where you can start making some money with your personal credit and use it as an asset, as what meant to be used, not as a liability. The minute you're thinking about how much funding can I get, without understanding the strength that you carry and the responsibilities that you'll need to burden yourself with that amount of funding, then you don't necessarily care about that. All you're looking for is a way out and a quick way to grab as much funding as possible without the financial consequences. Credit was not meant for that. Credit was meant for so much more. And I need you to mature to the level where it's necessary for you to understand the importance of this and how to use those tools to move ahead with your financial circumstances, to build a better future, and to build a lot of wealth in the process. So if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, turn the notifications on to all, so every time videos like these pop up, you'll be the first to know. Do you have any specific questions about what I just discussed? There was a lot of content that was covered, but it's very foundational stuff. And if you are not really sure of certain things that I've said today in this video, or still need some clarity and reference to some of the steps that's necessary to move you from the first tier to the second, I'm going to encourage you guys to go ahead and leave me a comment below the video so that we can have a discussion. And don't forget to share this with those that you feel can benefit from the knowledge that I've shared here today. And at that, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your good days. With that said, this is definitely your guide and mentor, Ali Tarafter. Catch you guys in the next one. Bye for now.
Keep dancing with the devil, but it is alive.